Hi everybody, happy Thursday to you. It's time for another Talk O'Clock, and let me tell you, this is one of the last episodes, me talking about stuff that I work with, like materials and whatnot, and what I think about things and what brands I do own and why I like those. I'm pretty much done. There's, I think, only 2 more episodes coming up. And then I'm going for a new kind of Talk O'Clock, some more challenging stuff for the weeks after. So yeah, just giving you a heads up that things are almost coming to an end with this mini series of Talk O'Clocks on Thursdays, and that something more on the going into my brain kind of thing is coming up while creating artwork, that is. So yeah. Today, however, I have planned the material review for colored pencils, graphite pencils, and inks. So let's start with the graphite pencils. I own a few different ones, and most of them are not high quality. They're just the ones that people give as a giveaway, people meaning companies, because I'm not drawing pencil drawings anymore, at least not in a fashion where I'd say, okay, it's worth having different very good pencils at my house. I'm okay with the two and a half, I should say, that I do own that are of better quality, and I'm good with that, and usually it works fine, since I don't remember. No, I don't remember when I did the last graphite pencil drawing, only graphite pencil, it not being a composition of a painting during the plan out sketching phase, but a proper drawing. I don't remember. I usually work with mixed media on that. I'm more into markers. I might be more into inks or colored pencils. There's hardly ever just graphite pencils, and maybe that's something that I have to revisit. But going for the materials, these are just like the low quality kinds of pencils that I use. This one has been worked quite a bit with medium hardness to the lead, but I have these most. They are from my craft store. They have them in pretty much every shipment, or when you go to the store, they just put it into your bag when you check out. So I use these for sketching my paintings when I'm in the planning phase of something. This one here is also just a giveaway, but it's one of these very thin graphite lead pencils here, which I like a lot, especially when I work with stencils. So I use that for the stencils, or when I want very, very thin underdrawing on a paper that that is very soft and where you can see dents and lines even if you erase something. So I work with this kind of very thin, very light pencil here. But these ones are my favorites. They're from Stettler, which is kind of a good brand. It's especially when it comes to pencils and colored pencils. They have nice quality. They're not the Faber-Castells, but they're the closest to Faber-Castells. And I have a thin one and I have a thicker one, and I really like those. Like they feel in the hand. The lead is very good. It hardly ever breaks, and they just have a nice softness to them. So I'm always working with medium. on pencils that I actually like to draw something with and not just outline or sketch. So these are both medium. And one is falling down. Oh, great. Awesome. Wow. Ah, here I am again. So, I really like these, and Jesus Christ. I'm demolishing my studio today. Great. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, I like those. So I think that's all I have to say about graphite pencils. Again, just because I don't do drawings with solely graphite anymore, or it's been over 10 years, I know that. I think it's maybe almost 20 years since I last did a graphite pencil drawing, like proper drawing. So yeah, I only have so much expertise because things have changed, and yeah, from way back then, I'm not an expert anymore. I'm maybe yeah, kind of in the know, you know. But I'm more in the know with the colored pencils, and these are just some, and I'm taking one with a better, this one here, with a better tip. Yeah, so I do have 3 different kinds, and I'm storing them in a flower pot. And I know everybody will yell at me and say, no, you gotta have them in their case, and it's way better. Guys, that's quite true, but I don't care. These are the students' quality colored pencils. These are not the polychromos. These are not the Prismacolors. They're just the, you can get them in your craft store, but nothing too fancy kind of pencils. And for that, it's okay. And I just really like how they sit there, instead of me having 3 cases that are horrible to store, at least in the shelves that I do own. And half of the tins are empty because the pencils are already gone. I hated that. Slightly OCD there, so I went with the flower pot instead. And I do have, like I said, 3 different kinds. This one is Herlitz, which is a German brand, and this is like the primary school, early secondary school kind of level that you draw, or that you use. The material is supposed to be for school kids, and it does its job for that. It's quite the hard lead, so you won't have a lot of smudges, of course, but also you will have a lot of lines. You can really see them. Blending with these particular ones is not the greatest job ever, but there's not only blending areas in a drawing, there's also the straight lines depending on what you're drawing. So I keep one set of 12 colors in with a harder lead. Then I do have 2 others. They're both Fabers. This is Eberhard Faber, which is I think the older version of the Faber-Castells. They're exactly the same family, so maybe it's, I don't know if it's parents, sister, whatever. I don't know the company history, but these are Faber-Castells. I call them both Faber-Castells now, just to make it easier. And these are very lovely. This is the standard one that I had in school 25 years ago, something like that. And these have a medium kind of lead. They are kind of soft, but you, when you sharpen them, you could also get a very crisp line with those, and not smudging too much and pigment going everywhere. So it's pretty much in the middle of the hard, the medium. Of course, this is is the soft one, but I really like those. They do have lovely pigments, and I do own, I think it's 48 colors, a full set. And these are, again, like I said, from back in the day when I was in school, so they keep like forever. I'm not only drawing colored pencil drawings, of course, but I use them frequently with mixed media like Copics and colored pencils, or maybe pastels and or watercolors and colored pencils. So I use them quite a bit, and they stay with you for very long. So you get a lot of pigment, and you don't have to work like half the pencil onto the paper. The third one here is the soft one, and these are my favorites. You can really nicely blend with those. I do have a set of 36 with those only, but not the, well, the colors that you get in all of the other sets. So this is more like a nature set. A lot of, I call them vintage colors, like not the brightest colors ever, but more like earthy, a very subtle, very antique, vintage kind of color set there. For example, this is the dark green, which is not in very many sets there. Then there's a lot of oranges that I do have, a very nice reddish brown, like almost terracotta. So these kinds of colors, I bought them in that set because these are the things that the colors that I use most in any paintings or drawings, just because of what object and or subject I'm going to paint. The likeliness of being in that color scheme is quite high when it comes to colored pencils, so I bought that set, and I really like how you can blend lovely surfaces together without having to use any mineral spirits or blending tools, or maybe, I don't know, I think 5 layers is working fine like most of the time. And I'm not talking about photorealism here, then you would have maybe 30 layers, but for what I work on, what kind of style I do with colored pencils, or how I use them just to intensify certain things that I painted or drew with other media, totally fine for those. I don't have to have the Prismacolors and polychromos, although I heard very many people say that they're just like awesome in the Rolls Royce and they behave so great. So these are just my colored pencils and graphite pencils. And now I'm coming to the second part of this section, which is ink. Now, let me say one thing first. I'm not talking about ink pads here that I use for stamps. That will be coming up next week when I go into stamps and stencils, and then also the ink pads. But today I'm just talking about the ink that you can get in the container and that you can paint with or draw with, and that you probably maybe use for mangas or whatnot. So I do have a couple of those, and I really like them. Now, the one that I got first is a black one. Does it say anything? It's a very traditional, like, calligraphy writing. It says black, but it actually has a sepia tone to it, so this is a very antique looking black ink. And this one came with the set, and now it's falling apart. Gosh. With a set of tips and also a pen. Now let me get that in there. Oh, come on, buddy, really? So, gosh. Forget it, I'm just holding it. So this was the set, the bottle being in here, and there's the pen, and you can change the tip, and you have like all these different kinds of tips, small ones like thin, or ones with a wider tip, and this one here, the blue one, is my favorite when it comes to drawing lines in artwork. I really like the blue one, and I use it frequently. So this is just a thin one. I use it frequently, especially like on the Tiny Tuesdays and whatnot. I really like that tip, and again, I use it a lot. Also, very recently this week in my art journal, I used the tip, so I really like that. But black is not enough, right? So I haven't used inks for painting, like not ink pens, but inks with this particular tool. I didn't use them before in any other way other than writing. So doing line work with those and wanting to go for colors, I hit the internet and I checked what people recommended, what they liked, which brand, where to get it, blah blah blah. And these are Kohinoor. They are from, well, they were sent from Czech Republic. I think they're also, yeah, they're produced there. And Kohinoor is the distributor in Slovakia. So yeah, so these came from Czech Republic. I ordered them via Amazon, and they are a set of drawing inks. Now there's 10 in there, you can see, and from yellow, orange, red, pink, blue, purple. What's that one? That's a black, I think. Yeah, that's black. Brown. Green. And now I have to shake it, otherwise you can't see it. Because it separates a bit, but only with this color. And white. So I got those inks. And I really like them. You can pretty much use them like right out of the bottle. Let me just organize my thingy here, and then I'm opening one. So you can pretty much have them right from the bottle, and they're just lovely inks. Great consistency, like pigments and stuff like that. Really smooth. They dry nicely. There's no bumps, no nothing in there. So it's you can pretty much go in with a pen and use the ink here, or you can even just like dab it like splatters. You can pretty much do them either with a cap, or what I use, and what I also use just to get a bit more quantity of ink on the paper and use them like watercolors. I use these pipettes where you can suck in the ink and then you can distribute it on your paper, and with a bit of water and a brush you can have the smoothest backgrounds ever. So I use them more often. Yeah, like maybe 85 to 90%. I use them for line work, in details, and like really working on the focal point, and the other 15% I do use them for backgrounds, to have very smooth backgrounds. You could also use a paper towel, just put on some ink and then just swish and how's it, just like going back and forth over the paper, and the paper will suck in the ink from the paper towel. You can see that on the Tiny Tuesday 4, I think it is, the one with the rabbit. There I use that technique. I use the same ink, but more of a dabbing technique on the first Tiny Tuesday, so you can see a few backgrounds there. And for the last page in my art journal for 2014, I also use those. but like on a big surface with water and blending and the whole shebang. So if you're curious how that works out, you just could hop to these videos. And I think that's that. I'm really happy with those very, very limited supplies that I do have in my studio, but they're very good college or even professional quality, professional being the inks in that case. So I really, really like working with these kind of media, and I'm never overwhelmed like which brand am I going to use right now. I do have the Rolls Royces. They're just too precious to be used, something like that never happens because I do have so limited supplies. I don't want to have more, like tons and tons, because then I would probably also get that of being overwhelmed feeling. What am I going to do without, oh hey, those are just too precious, I can't use them too often on any things, like, you know, it's just common and I get it. But especially with colored pencils and inks, I don't have that problem just because I do have that limited amount of supplies. Maybe later, like, I don't know, one day I will try some other colored pencils, maybe like the Spectrums or even the Prismacolors or Polychromos or whatnot. But I would start with a set of maximum 12 and to see if I get into the going for so many layers and blending spirits like mineral spirits or whatnot to make drawings. But now is not the time, I guess. Now would be rather the time to rethink if I'd like to go for graphite pencil paintings again. I'm not sure. Maybe one day, maybe it would be a lovely challenge to have for myself. Not sure. So I think that pretty much ends the vlog. If you have any questions, just let me know. Leave it in the comment section below. Otherwise, I would love for you to like and or share this video. This really helps out. And if you haven't already, why not subscribe to the channel? I do have lots of art videos and cooking videos and board game videos for you pretty much every day of the week. So have a very good day. I will see you tomorrow with a new art video, and on Saturday I do have the next vlog for you. So take care. Thanks again for watching. Bye bye.